now I can see. Okay, so we're on the scene. This gentleman has an injured neck. He's spurting a little bit of blood out from that side. I'm going to check that the scene is safe. I'm going to make sure that I have appropriate BSI on. I'm going to put on gloves. If I need to put on eye protection, I will do that. If I need a gown, etc., I will put that on. So I'm going to come up. I'm going to make sure that I apply direct pressure onto his wound. If it weren't exposed already, say if he had hair like mine or he had on a scarf or something like that, we would expose the wound, get all of those other things away from it. So I'm going to put gentle pressure on, but I'm going to make sure that I'm not putting too much pressure on so I'm not injuring him or stopping his breathing in any way. Once we get to this point, I'm going to make sure that he's not continuously bleeding, that we don't need to put on an additional bandage. But if we're ready to transport, what we're going to do is take our other triangle bandage, gently place pressure on it. You don't have to move your head that much. We're going to come over here and we're going to make an X or a figure 8. This isn't quite long enough to do it as the video did it, but we would make sure that he had padding underneath his arm before I go underneath that to make sure that it's not going to rub or be painful for him in the long term. We're going to go around underneath the armpit. And again, if this were long enough, I would make an X underneath, come back around and then tie the knot up here. As it is, I'm going to make sure that the knot is tied out of the way, so that it is not painfully in his armpit or rubbing at all. We're going to tie that off. And as we do, we're going to make sure that we ask the patient, is this uncomfortable?
No.
Is your breathing compromised in any way?
No.
Okay. Tie that off with a square knot. He can put his arm back down. We're going to make sure that we reassess if there's anything that happens with his breathing, if he says that he's having difficulties at all, if he says that the bandage is too tight, anything of that nature, or if it starts bleeding again, we're going to stop and reassess what our interventions are.